Very good morning, students. Today we are going to start the first chapter of your Hornbill book. The name of this chapter is The Portrait of a Lady, and this chapter is written by Khushwant Singh. So, first of all, let's talk about the author. Khushwant Singh was an Indian author, lawyer, diplomat, and politician. His experience in the 1947 partition of India inspired him to write Train to Pakistan, which became his well-known novel. If we talk about this chapter, The Portrait of a Lady is written in first person and is in biographical mode. In this story, the writer gives a detailed account of his grandmother with whom he had a long association. He pens down her daily activities and how she evolved as a character as time passed by. He explains her appearance. He explains his grandmother's appearance, which helps to create an image in a reader's mind. In this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully unfolds their relationship and how it undergoes several changes. In other words, the story is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother. The story gives a picture of human relationship. It is a realistic account of how the grandparents give all their time, attention, and love to their grandchildren. So let's talk about the summary of this chapter. First of all, the author's grandmother. Khushwant Singh's grandmother is described as an extremely religious person. She was a very kind lady. She was short, fat, and slightly bent. Her face was wrinkled and she was always dressed in spotless white clothes. In the village, she took care of all the needs of the author when he was a child. Khushwant Singh, the author, he recounts his childhood days and his relationship with his grandmother. The author remembers his grandmother and grandfather, and he recalls his grandmother as a very old lady. For the 20 years that the author had known his grandmother, he had found her old and wrinkled. It was hard for him to believe that she had once been young and pretty and she had a husband. Khushwant Singh's grandfather's portrait hung on the wall of drawing room. Now we are talking about his grandfather's portrait. Khushwant Singh's grandfather's portrait was hung on the wall of the drawing room. He wore a big turban, his clothes were loose. He looked at least 100 years old. Looking at his portrait, one could not imagine him in his youth with his wife and children. The thought of the grandmother being young and pretty was almost revolting to the author Khushwant Singh. She was his grandmother was short, fat, and slightly bent in stature. Her face was crisscross of wrinkles. Her silvery white hair was scattered over her wrinkled face. The author remembered her hobbling around the house in spotless white clothes, with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop and the other hand busy counting the beads of her rosary. Her lips constantly moved in an inaudible prayer. She used to recite prayers, inaudible prayers. So this shows that he was a very religious lady. To the author, she could never have been pretty, but she reflected a divine beauty. She was like the winter landscape in the mountains. The next point, the author's childhood with his grandmother in village. The author and his grandmother were good friends. His parents left him to stay with her when they shifted to the city. In the village, his grandmother took care of all his needs. She was quite active and agile. She used to wake him up in the morning and get him ready for school. She said her morning prayer in a sing-song manner while she bathed and dressed him in the hope that her grandson would learn them by heart, in the hope that her grandson would listen and learn all by heart. The author listened to the prayers because he loved her voice, but never bothered to learn that all. The author listened to the prayers, but he never bothered to learn those prayers. Then she would fetch his wooden slate, which she had already washed, and plastered it with yellow chalk. She would take an earthen inkpot and a reed pen and tie them in a bundle and hand it to the author. After having a thick stale chapati with the little butter and sugar spread on it for breakfast, they used to leave for school. Grandmother and author used to leave for the school. It means grandmother accompanied the author to the school. The grandmother accompanied him because the school was. Now, author at the school, the priest taught the children the alphabet and the morning prayers. The children sat in 2 rows in the veranda. They would sing the alphabet or the prayers in a chorus while the author learnt his lessons at the school, the adjoining temple. A temple attached to. On their way back to home, they would feed stale chapati to the village dogs. The grandmother and the author would feed the stale chapati to the village dogs while returning to home from school. So in this way, he spent his childhood at village with his grandmother. Turning point in the relationship of grandmother and author. The turning point came in the relationship when they moved to the city to stay with Khushwant Singh's parents. When the parents were settled properly in the city, they called the grandmother and author to the city to stay with them. In the city, the author went to an English school in a motor bus. The grandmother could not accompany him to the school as there were no dogs in the street. The grandmother took to feed the sparrows. As the years rolled by, they saw less of each other. In spite of her immense interest in his study, she could not help him in his lessons as he was learning English because he started going to an English school. That's why grandmother couldn't help him in his study. Okay, in English school, they learned the law of gravity, Archimedes principle, and many more such things which she could not understand. And this made her unhappy. Sometimes she would ask him what the teacher had taught him. Okay, so this made this made the grandmother sad that she couldn't help her grandson in his study. Grandmother distressed and disturbed. Grandmother didn't believe in the things taught at the English school and was distressed to learn that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures in the schools. Moreover, she was very disturbed at the idea of music lessons being given at the English school. To her, music had layered association, and she considered music to be unsuitable for gentle folk. So this made her sad, distressed, and disturbed. The common link of friendship gets snapped. The common link of friendship between the author and the grandmother was broken when the author went to the university and was given a room of his own. The grandmother accepted her loneliness and she rarely spoke to anyone. All day long she sat spinning the wheel and reciting her prayers. So this was the way she used to spend her time in a city house. Only in the afternoon she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. They perched the sparrows or the birds perched on her shoulders and some even on her head, but she never shooed them away. It used to be the happiest half hour of the day for grandmother. Then the author decided to go abroad for higher studies for 5 years. He was sure that his grandmother would be upset at his departure. But she was not even sentimental. She came to the railway station to see him off. She showed no emotion. She was absorbed or she was busy in prayers at that time. Silently, she kissed his forehead. The author thought that perhaps it was the last sign of physical contact between them. Okay, because he had no hope for her life. Because he was going to abroad for 5 years. The grandmother celebrates author's return and falls sick. After 5 years, the author found his grandmother at the station when he returned from the grandmother was there at the railway station. She held him in her arms. She found her more religious and more self-contained. He could hear her reciting prayers. Even that day, the happiest moment for her was feeding the sparrows herself. However, something strange happened to her in the evening. For the first time ever, she didn't pray. Instead, she collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing song of the homecoming of warriors. They tried to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining herself, but she didn't listen. She fell ill next morning. Okay? This made her ill. Grandmother's death. The grandmother was diagnosed with a mild fever by the doctor, but she insisted that her end was near. She told everyone that she did not want to talk to anyone and would rather spend her last moments praying. She ignored everyone's protest and started counting the beads in her rosary while praying. After a short while, the author noticed that his grandmother's lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. She died a peaceful death. She was covered with a red shawl or a shroud. The sparrows mourn her death. When the author and others came to take away the grandmother's body, they met a strange sight. To mourn her death, a lot of sparrows had surrounded the grandmother's body. They were all silent when the author's mother offered the sparrows some bread. They refused to eat and quietly flew away after the grandmother's body was carried away for the last rites, for the last rituals. Okay, even the sparrows mourned the death of the grandmother. So this is all about this summary of the Portrait of a Lady, in which the poet describes his grandmother, okay, and the relationship between the author and the grandmother. So in this way, through this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. Okay, he beautifully unfolds their relationship and how it undergoes several changes. Okay. In other words, the story is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother. So thank you and have a nice day, students.